Okay, so now we're making x the subject. So we're rearranging equations or formulae or changing the subject of the formulae. So what do we mean by make x the subject? Now, it might say x the subject, or it might be make y the subject, or t, or a. Whatever it is we're making the subject, we're going to end up with whatever it is. So for example, x equals a load of stuff. Okay, so here, if we look at this equation, or this formula even, it's y equals 5x plus 6, y is the subject. So in all of these at the moment, y is the subject. We're just going to be moving them around. We're going to be rearranging them so that instead of y equals something, it's x equals something. So let's have a look. If we have a look at this first one, 5x plus 6, when you're doing these on paper and pen, always start off by writing it out exactly as the question is. I'm not always going to do that as they're already on the screen here. And we're trying to kind of unwrap x. So here, x started its life, started its journey, and it was multiplied by 5. And then after that, it had 6 added to that. We're going to be kind of reversing that whole operation. So the last thing that was done to the x is it had the 6 added to it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take away 6. We're going to do the inverse operation of adding 6. So from both sides, we're going to take away 6. We end up with just 5x left on the right. And on the left, we've got y minus 6. We took 6 away from both sides. We do the same operation whenever we're dealing with equations to both sides. And the first part of x's journey, it was multiplied by 5, had 6 added, so we're reversing that. We took away 6, and now we're going to divide both sides by 5. So when we divide the right-hand side by 5, we just get x. And on the left, we get y minus 6 all over 5. And that's it. Okay, I've said over here, you end up with x equals something. It could just as well be something equals x. The important thing, it doesn't really matter which side the x is on, whether it's on the right or the left. The important thing is x is by itself. We've isolated x by itself. So here is our answer, y minus 6 all over 5 equals x. Or you could write that the other way, x equals y minus 6 all over 5. Now, when you're writing these up on the computer, what I would like to see is, you can't really do this, put y minus 6 all over 5. So what you want to do instead is put a bracket around y minus 6. And then for the fraction there, you want a forward slash 5. So that's how you should be writing this same one on the computer. Again, you could have the x equals on the other side if you want. For the next question, y equals x over 5 minus 4. So how did x start its journey? First, it was divided by 5, and then it had 4 taken away from that. We're going to be doing the reverse of that journey. So we're going to start off by adding 4 to both sides instead of taking away. The opposite is adding. We end up with x over 5 here. And on the other side, we've got y plus 4. And then what we're doing to both sides is we have to multiply. We have to do the opposite of divide 5. We've got to multiply both sides by 5. So we get x equals 5 times y plus 4. Notice how I added the brackets there, okay? When we multiplied y plus 4 by 5, we're not just multiplying the y, we're not just multiplying the 4, we're multiplying both. Now, if you want to, you could write this instead as y equals 5y plus 5, 10, 15, 20. Both of these are acceptable, okay? If you're asked for it to be expanded, it would look like this. If you're asked for the factorized version, it would look like this, but I don't mind which version you give for your answer. Last question. Well, we now have 3 letters, but we're doing the exact same thing. We're trying to get x by itself. So first thing I'm going to do is multiply both sides by z. So we get yz equals 5x minus 3. Now I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Yz add 3 equals 5x. And finally, the reverse of multiplying by 5 is division by 5. So we get yz plus 3 all over 5 equals x. Again, if you're on a computer, you would want to write this as yz, that's a z, not a 2, plus 3 divided by 5 equals x. Okay, you could write it as either of these ways, but on a computer, you'd want to write it that way. Here are some very similar questions for you to have a go. Good luck. Okay, let's have a look at the first one again. We're trying to get x by itself. So y equals 8x plus 12. We're going to take away 12 from both sides. So we get y minus 12 equals 8x. And then we're going to divide both sides by 8. So we get y minus 12 all over 8 equals x. Again, if you're writing it on a computer, you would write x equals y minus 12 divided by 8 this way. We're going to add 8 to both sides first here. So we get y add 8 equals x over 3. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 3. The whole of this side is being multiplied by 3. And there's our answer. Last one, we're going to start by multiplying both sides by z. So we get yz equals 3x plus 5. Now we're going to take away 5 from both sides. Yz minus 5 equals 3x. And finally, we're going to divide both sides by 3. Yz minus 5 over 3 equals x. Again, on a computer, you might write this as x equals yz minus 5 all over 3. Here are similar questions for you to do and your teacher to mark.